Ready? Play.
It's going to be between two one-handed backhands, Lorenzo Musetti and Stefanos Tsitsipas. Both looking good here, having solid weeks. We'll start with Lorenzo Musetti. Definitely a little bit of a rocky start, but he's managed to come through his first two matches in three sets, and then today it was just a lot more convincing against Berrettini. What do you make of that match, Carson?
What I make of it is that Berrettini was hitting a lot of unforced errors today. I think 44 or 45 of them, just not giving himself a great chance. But yeah, sometimes when you're playing tennis, what you need to do is just get the ball back into play. Musetti was able to do that today, and I believe this is his second quarterfinal in Monte Carlo. I can't remember. I should look that up before we began, but he's been doing well here and has been doing quite well on clay since the Olympics began. Made a nice run in the Olympics, and then obviously Numag towards the end of the year, reaching the finals. So it's a good start to his clay season. Lots of good vibes right now around him, and I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we talk about the fact three of the four players on this side of the draw have one-handed backhands. Like, is that a comeback? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll start with the surface in terms of the clay. It's high bouncing clay, it's a slower court, and that just allows more time for these one-handed backhands to set up their shots. But I think for Musetti, it's definitely condition based for him. An all-court guy because of the variety and ability that he possesses. But definitely we lean towards the clay and the grass. But he's just what he's able to do so well here is play so deep behind the baseline, and he's like I talked about, kind of him controlling the pace from the back of the court, and he's able to, he's happy to defend. And I would definitely say that kind of played a huge part today because Berrettini maybe wasn't on his top level physically and was looking to shorten points, and that didn't go his way today. And once those points got a little bit more extended and it became more physical, the edge was definitely to Musetti. So I love Musetti's game here. I think it fits the conditions so well, and he's got a lot to be happy about so far, especially coming through two tough three setters to start this tournament. Now we'll look at the other opponent, which is going to be Stefanos Tsitsipas. He's had such a great track record here in Monte Carlo. He is the defending champion, so he's got that well, you can call it pressure or opportunity to show really who's boss here. He's won this tournament multiple times, and he had quite a convincing win against Borges. What did you make of that match?
He's a three-time champion here. If anyone loves the conditions here, it is Stefanos Tsitsipas, and did really, really well today. 6-1, 6-1 against Nuno Borges. Yeah, he was just moving Borges all over the court, moving him from corner to corner. I mean, this is the level that we think we can and should see from Tsitsipas more often. Like, this is exactly the type of match that we want to see him play. Yeah, so I was really impressed with him today, and yeah, loves the conditions here. There was a little bit of pressure early on in this match. I think he faced 5 or 6 break points in the first set, saved all of them. But a lot of these, in spite of the scoreline, a lot of these games, it did feel like the returner was getting to like 30 or 40 points, and we like have a deuce fairly often. So there was like some, in spite of the scoreline being quite one-sided, a lot of the games felt fairly tight. So credit to Nuno Borges for that, and yeah, he'll hopefully see a better scoreline the next time that these two face off. That's not as one-sided, but yeah, Tsitsipas moves on into yet another quarterfinals here.
Yeah, and as Gene is telling us, perfect timing. Some huge news in the tennis world. Goran Ivanisevic is going to become Stefanos Tsitsipas's new coach after Roland Garros. I think we'll dedicate some time, maybe in a future show to talk about how exciting that pairing can be. But obviously, huge news in the tennis world, and obviously before we get into these quarterfinal matches tomorrow, obviously some big talking points with Ivan Isavic, leaving the Rybakina camp after just a short stint. But we'll save those thoughts for the a future show. But I love some breaking news. So thank you, Gene, for breaking it. I just had to double check it because I was like, is this real? So thanks for that, Gene, and looking forward to having more conversations about that pairing. But yeah, I mean, talk about just comfort and confidence and conditions and atmosphere. It's Stefanos Tsitsipas's favorite place to play, and it looked to be again that way today. um, as you said, 5 out of 6 breakpoints saved. So obviously it makes the scoreline look a lot different. But Borges coming off a marathon match versus Martinez yesterday, you're kind of seeing just a totally different opponent in Tsitsipas with the one-handed backhand, the angles and topspin he generates. It just poses a totally different threat, and I thought that was just going to be too much for Borges today. So let's get into our final preview for the final quarterfinal. Lorenzo Musetti versus Stefanos Tsitsipas. Let's check that head-to-head.
It is not close. Tsitsipas leads at 5-0. So, frankly, I'm not really sure I see what would change from the previous matches to this one, especially at a place that Tsitsipas loves playing. As you said, this is his favorite place on the tour to play. I think he'll win, and I don't know. I think it could be fairly convincing. I mean, you don't know how much you want to read into previous matchups, but Musetti did have a couple of tough 3-setters to open up the tournament, so he's been on court quite a bit more than Tsitsipas has. Tsitsipas had a first-round bye before facing Jordan Thompson in the second round. So I just feel like combination of maybe some fitness catching up to Musetti, and then Tsitsipas just loves playing here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point in the fitness column, but I think today's win against Berrettini didn't take too much out of Musetti, and I think we're talking about two guys who are super comfortable here. Looking at their past matchups, 4 out of the 5 of them, came on clay. Definitely similar surface. They played in Barcelona, the French, Lyon, and Rome. So talking about surfaces that play fairly similar to Monte Carlo, and they were all super tight. In terms of the French Open, it went 5, and then the other 3 matches on clay, 2 of them went 3 sets, and the other one, the 2-setter, being a 7-5, 7-5 victory. So that was the most recent one, 2023 in Rome. I think this is going to be a battle, Carson. I really do. I think belief and bravery is going to come down to it. Some tight moments, and who's going to kind of go for that shot, because you have 2 guys who are very comfortable hanging super deep behind that baseline. And both of them, as you talk about, these one-handers that produce so much topspin, and they're tough to handle as they bounce up above your shoulders. I think Musetti has more of an attacking one-hander, if that makes sense. I think he has the ability to flatten it out and change the direction a little bit easier than Tsitsipas. But I would say on the flip side, I think Stefanos as a player is a little bit more aggressive. Musetti is very patient. He works the court well, uses so much variety. So I'm just really interested, because I'm talking about how Musetti does such a good job of kind of controlling the pace of play and the point, and kind of dictating on his own terms. That's something I'm going to be looking out for. But I just think of the bravery in terms of who's going to be willing to go for it in those tight moments. So I'm expecting a thriller. It's going to be probably one of the I mean, we have 4, but it's going to be a match that I'm looking forward to Probably just right there with Carlos and Fee. So super super exciting quarterfinal day. Carson, do you have any thoughts to wrap this up?
I think it's going to be a very fun day of tennis. Like we've got 4 matchups that I think all of them are going to be fairly high quality. There's none of them that I really look at and I'm like, that one might not be such a great match. I think we're going to see some really good tennis tomorrow.
No, I'm right there with you. I'm hoping it's a nice sunny day and the fans are excited because yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day of tennis. So that I think wraps us up for today. Just want to say thanks to everyone who tuned into the show and kept along. I'm super excited to learn more about the Goran and Stefanos news, and that pairing is going to be so exciting. So a lot to talk about in the future, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.